Welcome to this new video. This video is regarding creating a dynamic calendar in Power Query. Usually we won't use dynamic calendar in Power Query. We might try some M scripts to create a calendar. In this video we will try to create a calendar with the help of Power Query itself. Usually by M scripts or by DAX we will be using the calendar table. But here in a different way, in a complicated way, we will try to use a calendar table in Power Query. So what is a calendar table in Power Query? What is the need of a calendar table in Power Query? So you can see the order date here and the shipment date. Usually when we get a fact table, they will be having two tables that will be an order date, a shipment date, or in this table we are having a shipment date and a delivery date here. So to use the DAX functions properly, you need to have a separate table for date, and the starting date and the ending date should be similar, because here if you see the starting date is, if you see the order date, starting date is 3/2/2022, the ending date is 20/10/2023. So the dates will be differs, but you need to have a proper date table to have all the dates within it. That means if the starting date is 3/2/2022, that means the starting date of the calendar table should start from the first day of that 2022. So you need to have a table like this. And the ending date, you see the ending date is here, that is on October 2023. So that means the ending date of the calendar table should be exactly the last day of the 23. So you need to create a table like this. For DAX, it is easy. You need to function calendar auto, and you will get the automated table itself. But after that, you need to create lots of DAX functions to get the year, to get the name, to get the name of the month, to get the date, everything. So the advantage of creating a table in the Power Query is that you can do all these things in Power Query itself using transformation add column. You can create the remaining columns for all the calendar table. So there are certain steps that we need to consider, and the steps are here. First step is that you need to create, or you need to reference this entire fact table into two times, and you need to select only both the columns and create a table with that, and you need to append both the table into one. So to append both the table to one, the name of the column name should be similar. So you need to change the column name. So one by one steps we will see, and we will create the calendar table. So for that we are having a data that is almost like a fact table, and we will transform the data. And when you transform the data, you got here the shipping date and the delivery date is there. These two tables these two columns we need to append, and we need to join together. So what we can do is that we can right click here in the name, and you can reference it one time, and you can reference it as date one. So once again we can, and in the date one you can just take only the shipping date, so remove other columns. And once again we will go to sheet, and we will reference it, and here we will write it as date 2. And in this date 2 you can select the delivery date itself and remove other columns. So now you got two dates, date 1 and date 2. One is shipment date and the next one is delivery date. Now you need to append these two tables. So for appending these two tables, the main criteria is the column name should be similar. Here you see the column name is different. One is delivery date and one is shipment. So you need to rename the column name. You need to rename it as date itself. So the data type as well as the column name should be equal. So we make the column name similar, and now we will append the table. We will go to the append queries. Append query, where it is? Append query is here in the home tab. So you can go to append queries. You can use append queries, or you can use append as new. So for clear description, I am using append as new. And here we need to give both the tables. So date 2 is there, and we are going to give date 1 is also there. So both the tables we gave, and now we are going to get the last table. This is the final table we are getting, because these two tables we got appended. You can just disable the load so that these two tables won't be shown in the data model. At the same time, these two tables, the value of these two tables will be here also. So now we got the table here. Now what we need to do is you need to get two things. One is start of the year, and you need to get the end of the year. So for getting these two, we can't have one column and get both the things. We need to duplicate this column. So we are going to duplicate this column, and in the first column we are going to go to the date, and we will go to the year, and we will get the start of the year. And here we got the start of the year. And in the second column we are going to the date, we are going to the year, and we are going to get the end of the year, and we got the end of the year. So you can clearly see the start of the year is 1st of 2022 and the end of the year is 31st of 2023. It might say 31st of 2023. So the next thing is you can take off the duplicates, remove duplicates. So you can see clearly here from 2022 to 2023 December it is showing. Now the next step what we are going to do is we are going to change the data type. We are going to change it to numbers. We are going to change it to whole number. Both the column we are going to change it to whole number. So both the column we got the whole number. Now the next step is get the minimum and maximum number from the columns by editing the applied steps. So what that means is how to get the minimum of this number. So you can go to this date. Always remember this is the name of the column. The first one is date, second one is date copy. So you need to remember exactly this name because you need to edit the applied steps with respect to this date name. So you can select the date, you can go to statistics and you can get the minimum. Now here you got the minimum and you have to always remember this function list.min and change type. Change type, what is it? It is the applied step which is just above this step. So that is a change type and this date is the column name. I have told that okay, you have to remember the column name. So once again we will go back to the change type, this step, and here you need to select this column. You need to go to the statistics and get the maximum, and it is asking whether it should put the step in between this. You can just allow it, and here also you can see the list of max and change type, and this is the column name. Rename this as max date. And here if you go, there is a problem. If you see list of minimum max date, it is coming from this max date, it is taking the minimum date. That is because the entire steps, if you see remove duplicates, it is getting this value is the step previous to that. But the problem is if you take the previous one here, the max date, nothing is there, no list is there. So that's why it's getting an error. So you need to change this max date to this change type. So you can see here how they have written here. So you can just copy this and you can paste it here. And now you got the minimum and you got the maximum here. You can rename it as min date. So we got the minimum and the maximum date. Now if you go and see the steps, create a list with minimum and maximum date. So how to create a list with minimum and maximum date. So you can go to this minimum date, that is the last step here, and you can just right click here and you can right click here and you can see one option here, insert step after. You can just click on here and there will be another step that came here, and here this step you can create a list. That list is you can just, so you need to create a list. So for that, you just open the curly braces and just write this name and this name. These two names you can write inside the curly braces. That is min date, two dots, max date, and enter. So you got a list from the minimum to the maximum. Now the list won't work here because you need to have a table here to get the calendar. So you can right click here and you can convert it to the table. And no delimiter or anything, just click on OK. So you got the table with the numbers. So now still it is not ended. You need to right click here, change the data type to date, and you can see from the beginning of 2022 till the end of 2023 it is being shown in this. So you got a calendar table. You can rename it as calendar and you can rename the column as date. Now in this calendar you can add lots of other columns. You can go to the date function, you can go and get the year, you can go and get the month, you can go and get the day, and no need of writing any DAX function, just you can go and create whatever it is necessary with respect to the date table and you're going to get it. So in this way you can create a calendar table. Now we will close and apply, and you can go to the modeling part. Here you see you've got the calendar here, and in this calendar we can connect the date with the shipping date or the delivery date or the order date, whichever is needed for you. So this is one way you can create a calendar table. Usually we create using M function, or you will create using DAX function. This is another way using Power Query that we can create a calendar table. Hope this was an interesting video. Have a nice day.